And welcome to the Christmas edition of This Week in Tyranny. So we're going to start in France, I think. I heard it's Irish. It's Ireland in Limerick. 200 people showed up to Sacred Heart Church in Limerick today after the Irish state banned their mass. They prayed the rosary outside their closed church and sang hymns. Now, I saw people down here saying that obviously the government, there was someone said that it was not the government, it's the bishops. I know that we did this long ago in hanging with the Muslims, and led the prayer for some big day out in Ireland. I can't remember what the name of it was. So they have no problem opening up for or helping out the Muslims over there in Ireland, but they don't care too much for us. So pray for our boys out in Ireland because they are really getting it handed to them right now. If you think it's bad over here, I can understand why some of those guys are really upset. Neil Ferguson's back in the news. Who is Neil Ferguson? Anyway, he's the guy that reveals how China inspired the lockdowns. This is the guy that came out with the 2.2 million people are going to die with the Rona even with socialist distancing, Muslims, etc. So this guy hasn't been right on anything. I think he may get the time right if he has a watch on. But he reveals how China inspired the lockdowns. It, quote, "It's a communist one-party state. We couldn't get away with it in Europe, we thought, and then Italy did it, and we realized we could." This guy's out of England. Some reason people listen to this guy. This is Climate Depot where Mike Moranis, I think his name. So yeah, it's on her.com. It's in his interview. So if you want to click here, again, always there's show notes. If you want to listen to everything he says, obviously they put this down on the website. Climate Depot is a great website, by the way. I'm a fan of checking that out. Here's a little Twitter picture of his baseball card stats of how great he is. 2001, foot and mouth, 6 million cattle destroyed at cost of 10 billion, but no actual evidence of infection to animals at neighboring farms. 2002, mad cow disease, predicted 50,000, 150,000 would die. Only 177 died. 2005, bird flu, claimed 200 million people would die from bird flu, but only 282 people died from it. 2009 swine flu, predicted 65,000 deaths. Actual deaths, 457. 2020 COVID-19, predicted millions of deaths, 2.2 million. The actual, I think it was just in Europe and United States, I think it was. The actual number is far lower, and the actual number that even's on the WHO or on those little tickers, it's even lower. Well, if you're not counting, or you got to distinguish between by the Rona, with the Rona, or was just in the ballpark of the Rona. You know, a bus hits a guy, Rona. Guy gets shot, Rona. You know, things like that. There's no actual scientific proof lockdowns has lowered his figures. This guy's a piece of work. He's the one that ended up shutting down England and then went out and committed adultery with a lady while he tested positive for the Rona. Yeah, class guy. This is great. There's more to this one coming too. There's a story that's coming out that you're just not gonna believe with good old Frauci, but
ears. I felt a little bit achy, but nothing to be bothering or distracting me. Went to bed last night, had a good night's sleep. Woke up this morning. The only thing I have is just a little bit of a soreness in the arm.
What arm?
Otherwise, I'm doing really well.
What arm? What arm did he say it was?
Went to bed last night, had a good night's sleep. Woke up this morning. The only thing I have is just a little bit of a soreness in the arm. Otherwise, I'm doing really well.
So he got stuck in his left arm. My right arm had a little soreness. Maybe it wasn't that. I don't know. There's a word for that, but I can't say it on air. Normal. Here's the new normal for Singapore. This is from Zero Edge. Singapore Airlines launches the Rona digital health passport for passengers. This will be coming to a city, state, town, airport near you. As the world stumbles into 2021 and about days, life as we know it will never be normal again. Go back to 2001. How many people thought it was going to go back to normal after that TSA? TSA is still around. The Patriot Act. Trump re-signed it. It's still it's still going on. There's people that never knew what it was before 2001. There's people living right now. We have never been in a peaceful time in the United States. So there's people born that's been, all they known is we've been at war bombing somebody. There will be people that will never know what it is to live before the Rona. This is not going away. As they say, well, from conspiracy theory to conspiracy fact, Singapore Airlines this week is the first major carrier to introduce a digital health certificate to verify passengers' testing history and POKI status. On December 23rd, a new digital health verification process was rolled out for passengers traveling on flights operated by the carrier from Jakarta or Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, according to Singapore Airlines press release. So yes, this will be coming for everyone. They already, like I said, we talked about this before in the rundown, that the clear pass that you've seen at airports. If you've gone into an airport, depending on which one, I know they had in Denver, you had the regular, you had the pre-check, and then you had clear. You pay, was it like $80 for 3 years to get around the regular, and you pay $120 for 2 years, I think it was, to get into clear. I can't remember. It was a very short line. Nobody wanted to pay for it. They're the ones that had the app for the Seattle Seahawks, so that you had to scan the app to get into the stadium. Get ready for that. I'm waiting. I told friends long ago, you'll have to eventually have an app to go to Mass. Because they already tried that this weekend in many parishes about having to make sure that you are signed up on the list. Even though there were sign-ups prior in the first lockdown. But people were getting turned away at parishes. I had guys that were texting me up, eyewitnessing families being told they couldn't come in with openings. Still, so because they just put down the wrong Mass. They couldn't get in. And there was openings. Here's I put these up, just a couple of Twitter sites. If any of y'all on Twitter, Pandamedics, data analysis. These are they got some great stuff on here to check out. But they also have a cat in 300 meme. But they do it for other photos, basically. But they have solid info for you to check out. Rationalground.com as well, especially if you're a charty kind of person. These guys have a lot of charts. The other guys is more of try to, at least entertain a little bit, but have a ton of facts to back it up. I heard about these guys from Dr. Thomas Wood's show, the Tom Woods Show. Here's one I saw. Midnight Mass from the trenches of Trumpgega County, Ohio. Mass family refused to wear masks as mandated by the bishop, which is not binding on laity, and would not leave until I said that they had to leave, thus canceling Mass. Would not leave until I said that, then I'd leave, cancel Mass. What is with these people? So they wouldn't wear masks, and the priest was going to cancel Mass because they wouldn't do it. And this priest comes in later, so thank you for standing in obedience to your bishop and protecting those who came to Holy Mass. I tell people, I place my hands in those of the bishops and promise respect and obedience, so we will follow them. So if His Excellency says, wear a pink bunny outfit, Padre, will you wear it out of obedience? I'm waiting for a bishop just for giggles, please. Somebody, if there's a bishop out there, please mandate that your priests wear pink bunny outfits out of obedience. And see who complies. If this is Ruby, I've known priests say that some priests fly United Airlines because the bishop asked them to fly United Airlines. Probably gets a kickback. That's not obedience. Going like this, taking something and dropping it. As I remember this catechism class was at about 4 years ago. Father talked about the false obedience that kicked in 50s, 60s. And then he would sit there and you roll a pencil off the desk and he would spear say, pick that pencil up. And you got to go over and pick the pencil up. And he'd do it again, pick the pencil up. Do it 15 or 20 times. It's not obedience. That's an abuse of obedience. That's basically trying to make somebody a slave. Cultish type deal. This is not obedience to do that. Especially when no bishop that I know of, and no priest that I know of, well, outside of the guys that's on my channel, have ever preached on modesty longer than, I don't know, 0.5 tenths of a second on average, and maybe less if we go, maybe 0.1 tenths of a second on average. I know one priest there said, somebody asked him about preaching on modesty, and he said, I won't touch that with a 3-foot pole. So they'll force you to wear a mask, muzzle, article of clothing, but they won't tell you to dress modesty in life or in the parish, skinny jeans, no problem. Like Belmont Abbey, like I said, up the street, you got this gigantic sign with no muzzles, no entry. But the girls can wear tight yoga pants in there. Not a problem. So yeah, let's start. How about we try being Catholic for a little bit? Maybe this can work out. Yeah, especially and no, if someone's going to get up and hey, they're old. I get it that they're in the range. Okay. They're also up on the altar. They're not mingling or dancing or kissing anybody in the pews. And they actually talked about how you have to be around somebody for 20, 30 minutes before this is even an issue. When you give somebody a communion, you're only there for what? 2 seconds? Not a big deal. And these guys are probably bathing in sanitizer. Come on. Someone brought up Charles Borromeo. Borromeo had people dying all over him. Somebody actually said this was the plague. Where's the bodies? So, on the sad note, this was one of those that they're not the only ones. Please remember that you must sign up to attend one of our Christmas masses. No one will be permitted in the church or a Christmas mass without a reservation. So they got to sit outside in the cold. And it rained. Thankfully, the rain stopped. I actually talked to somebody that went to midnight mass. There was about 4 or 5 people outside, and he said it was cold. Thankfully, it stopped raining. Maybe they gave them tailgate tents. I don't know. They do that in the summer. 100 degrees, they're outside underneath a tent. Middle of the day. So they actually had somebody tell me that, text me up saying that a family put down the wrong mass and were not allowed entry at their own parish. I have heard that the priest is getting a bunch of angry messages from parishioners, not just from both the Novus Ordo and the trad communities that go to the parish. Sorry, Father, you did it to yourself on this one. I'll back you up on a lot of things. Stop preaching the fears. And this is one that preaches this will have sermons that I would get mad. When we used to go, I would get furious. Because I'm standing in the back with the kids and I hear a sermon about not being in fear, and you're looking around and every pew is marked off and people are wearing muzzles and this, and they're acting like, I go, wait a minute, you're gaslighting us, Father. You're telling people not to do this while you're doing this. You're having 100, 150 people, 105 people in there when 500 can be in there. It's one of those that just didn't make it. How can you literally stay up there and preach something and then do the opposite in your actions? Talk is cheap. And getting tired, where people are getting fed up of this stuff. Rightfully so. Here's a Christmas arrived in Thailand where elephants wearing Santa hats preach and cheer and handing out face muzzles to school students. This is literally Clown Planet. We have just, if aliens have existed and came here, they may just turn around saying there's no intelligent life here. When will the madness stop? The church is supposed to lead the world in bringing out or preaching the truth, in season, out of season. Come what may. Here the saints get martyred for preaching truth. What are we doing? Our clerics are preaching the Rona religion, basically. the new rubrics, the new vestments, the new holy water sanitizer. Frustrating. Can you tell I'm frustrating? By the way, just to make matters better, right? Worse. This is Vanessa Beeley. There's a good podcast to listen on this. I've been following EMP stuff for years. In November 2020, I spoke with Last American Vagabond regarding the new 9/11 being predicted by Homeland Insecurity and others. Reminder, there's a FEMA drill planned in January 2021 EMP threat. All talked about here before event. Links to show notes. And he does link and everything in the show notes, so keep it in there. Check it out. She also has a thread here. The cyber, it talks about the cyber attacks, etc. So check it out. It's worth looking at. Don't, as I told my wife, a lot of these drills sometimes go live. So who knows what's going on. They've been talking about in the TIP, which we brought up before, that an event like this could happen around Inauguration Day. Who knows? Makes sense. But hopefully this is a nothing burger. A lot of people could die during this if this happens. But I'm not one to think it will, because for the reset guys, this would knock out a lot of what they want to do. Tech mainly, environmental wise, they would love it. As the environmental nut jobs would love this. The tree hugging, frog licking. Tree humpers would love this stuff, really, and that's mainly what the Fourth Industrial Revolution is all about, too. Anyways, so here's Fauci admits to lying about the Rona 19 herd immunity threshold to manipulate public to support the poke. Moves goalpost to 90%. They've been moving the goalpost every day, every week, every month. Earlier this year, Fauci said 60 to 70%, a typical range for such virus, but moved the goalpost to 70 75%. About a month ago, later he told around 75, 80, 85%. Now he's looking at 90%. Then, when new surveys said 60, we would take it. I thought I can nudge this up a bit, so we went to 80, 85%. Let's see, where's the... Oh yeah, he had a birthday the other day. That's why the next story, I think it is. Oh, this is different. Anyway, you heard about the spending bill, the GOP, that those bastions of freedom and liberty, and the supporters and those rebels that will fight for you, right? Here's what was in that little plan, that they were going to give $600 to the regular Joe and $169 million to Vietnam. $198 million to Bangladesh, $130 million to Nepal, $15 million for democracy programs, and $10 million for gender programs. Page 1486. That's 1486 of the bill. That wasn't even the last page. Sri Lanka up to $15 million. $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. I don't think for cigars. $461 million to Colombia for programs of counter narcotics and human rights. $74.8 million Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, whatever that is. $33 million Venezuela. Unspecified amounts. $132 million assistance in Georgia, and not the Bulldogs, Georgia and outside Russia. $453 million. Or Ukraine. And, what's his face? Lindsey Graham-Nesty, who was supposed to be a representative of South Carolina, the People's Republic of South Carolina, graciously was one of those pushing for Vietnam. Was it Vietnam? It was one of, maybe, no, it was Ukraine. $453 million in Ukraine. He was talking about, and there was another one for gender studies that he was pushing for. Maybe it was Pakistan. Yeah, it was Pakistan. It was the gender studies. How you got voted for South Carolina, not Pakistan? Again, it just shows that both parties not only are worthless, but if you think that the GOP is going to save you, there's a couple $2 billion worth just right here saying, here's a good one from Macaulay. Will you eat cultured meat grown from human cells? This is a literal. This is a legit thing. Those from Burger King, and was it McDonald's had the Impossible Burger? Or somebody had the Impossible Burger. Beyond Burgers. So this is, you can watch the rest of it. I'll put the links in, but everybody's in on it. Everybody's doing it. Remember Dunkin' Donuts? They had Snoop Dogg pushing it for Dunkin' Donuts. They were paying celebrities millions to push this stuff for all. Well, Kentucky Fried Chicken, people should know that it isn't from Kentucky and it isn't chicken. No one knows what it is, but it ain't from Kentucky nor chicken. But burgers, they've been doing fake meat since before it was cool. McDonald's, Burger King, all those. Burger King had the Impossible Burgers, I think. They're already poisonous food anyways, but now they're making it fake. And guess what? Gates runs or has money in these fake meat programs because it's all about net zero. Remember I did that thing on the Great Reset. They had will you eat bugs? Because bugs have zero emissions versus a cow that has whatever it is, and they're the same nutritional value. Sorry, I'm going to do the cow. So, yeah, don't fall for the meatless stuff, the fake stuff. By the way, here's Dr. Anthony St. Was it St. Fauci they were doing, or is that his middle name? Dr. Anthony S. Fauci Day. No, it's just his middle name. I think somebody was joking saying it was going to be St. Fauci. But this is not The Onion. Washington, D.C. mayor, who's terrible, proclaimed on Christmas Eve, December 24th, as Dr. Anthony Fauci Day to celebrate his 80th birthday and work to promote public health. Fauci has been a hero to our nation during this incredible, difficult year, working tirelessly to save lives and guide our nation's response to and recovery from the pandemic, Mayor Bowser said in a statement. We are incredibly proud to count him among the many D.C. residents who are sacrificing so much. Yes, indeed. Cue up the baseball game when he's got his legs up. Sacrificing, baby. Throw out the first pitch. Notice that number. Was it 19 was his number? Yeah. Just rubbing it in our face. To keep our communities healthy and safe. There's that four-letter word I can't stand. I issue this honor on behalf of all Washingtonians. District or criminals would have been better. In gratitude and recognize Dr. Fauci's service to our nation and our city. Blah, 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 blah. And if you want to see what his achievements or what the write-up was, this you did. There you go. You could print it out, frame it if you want. Use it for dark practice, put some things like that. I don't know. Clown Planet. Hey, by the way, the Pittsburgh Penguins got $4.82 million COVID loans. They're valued at $650 million. They received $4.82 million in the Rona loans. I didn't get to read this. I wonder if anybody else got it. 123 teams in the Big Four. Only one. Okay, only one received a loan under the PPP. Now, the Catholic churches, there was actually a link from CBS that had 9,000 out of 11,000 took the PPP. You know, wonder why guys closed down. They got money just to shut down. Yeah. Now, like I said, not frustrating at all, right? But hey, I wonder if the Penguins are going to. Oh, I had that blown up already. I wonder if the Penguins are going to give free tickets out. They got $4 million bailout. They're going to get a bailout, aren't they? Little bit about Nashville, if you want to. I didn't get to listen to this yet. Ryan just did one, was live when I was putting this together. You want to check it out? I saw it caught really a minute. I'll take a look at it later, but check it out. And he's got a video of a nurse that talks about her getting this after getting poked. It's in the video, and everything will be in the show notes section for here. I wonder if he's got it up yet. Let me take a look. Real time, ladies and gentlemen. There's it's got the links all up here. So there's the videos. Check it out. Can't miss it. LastAmericanVagabond.com. So about Nashville. This was interesting, I thought. FAA designates skies over Nashville as national defense airspace in wake of the bombing. Okay, so the alert to pilots states pilots who do not adhere to the following procedures may be intercepted, detained, and interviewed by law enforcement security personnel. There was a bombing outside the AT&T, and you're going to do that? What? What's the pilots got to do with anything on this? In addition to penalties for pilots who break protocol, there could be much more dire consequences. The alert states the United States government may use deadly force against airborne aircraft if it is determined that the aircraft poses an imminent security threat. They got some peanuts in the thing, and everyone's allergic to peanuts on the ground. What's the threat here? So you want to read more of this? Wow. Okay. A little extreme, unless something different is going on that we're not aware of. Baltimore, 2 days prior.
Tonight, an explosion rocks downtown Baltimore. The blast being blamed on the work being done inside the BGE building. Tonight, 19 people are hospitalized. WJZ is live tonight at the scene. Kelsey Kushner on West Fayette Street with a look at what happened and reaction from witnesses. Kelsey.
Well, Max, it looks like police still have a...
Don't you just love it that they wear a muzzle when they're doing these interviews? There's nobody around them. The camera guy's what? 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away? Maybe more. And they still got the muzzle going. Just keeping the propaganda, keeping the fear alive, baby.
A good portion of this roadway completely blocked off to traffic as crews work to...
And you know she did makeup beforehand, so they didn't just do makeup from here down. She's got makeup on, she's got lipstick on.
Secure and then remove that scaffolding that is still dangling on the side of the building. Now, we did speak with a few witnesses who said they were in the area at the time of that explosion. They say it sounded like an earthquake.
8:20 this morning, just threw me right out of bed.
A quiet morning in downtown Baltimore quickly turned into chaos.
The glass on the building shook when it went boom, and I didn't know what it was.
There's heavy damage on the 16th floor.
Fire officials say an explosion inside the BGE offices Wednesday morning injured 21 construction workers and trapped 2 window washers on a scaffolding that dangled nearly 12 stories above a busy sidewalk. I think it's sad. The explosion was felt throughout the neighborhood.
It was like a shock, like a big vibration.
Roger Lewis says he was walking
I'm starting to think of Mark and the Funky Bunch. Big, good vibrations.
in the area when suddenly he heard a loud boom and the ground shook beneath him.
The glass over here went, wobbled. And I was like, what is that? And boom, you hear the loud sound.
Neighbors watched in shock as the air clouded with smoke and debris. City police quickly shut down traffic and WJZ cameras were rolling as the workers were pulled to safety.
One of our members had to step out of the scaffold, climb up the scaffold, and bring him through the 11th floor.
Officials say the blast blew out several windows and sparked a fire and a partial roof collapse. BGE says it's been working on its air handling and boiler system, which likely caused this to happen.
At this point, we're still investigating. We knew it was a construction-related incident.
We need everyone to be praying for the people that we know are in serious condition.
Notice he's got a mask over another an N95, I think it is. So you got 2 going. So one's not good enough. You need how many muzzles you need?
Folks who suffer injuries.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting that 2 days prior that was going on. And streets reopened following an RV investigation. Police say there's no threat to community. This is also Christmas Day. Cincinnati.
So you can imagine with what happened there in Nashville, why an RV parked in downtown Cincinnati caused quite a commotion tonight. Security at the federal building alerted police about this RV with out-of-state plates parked outside in a public lot between the Red Fox Grill and the Old Shanghai Mamas. The caller said it was running, so out of an abundance of caution, police shut down a bunch of streets and brought in the ATF and a bomb-sniffing dog.
Well, the car itself wasn't running. It's actually one of the generators that keeps the inside of it warm. So every time the thermostat would kick down, when it got cold enough, the generator would kick back on. We weren't sure, obviously, at the time when we're going in there, because with the way the alley is, basically, it's a lot of echo, so we couldn't tell if the car was running or whether it was actually a generator.
Police eventually found the owner about a block away and gave the all clear after about an hour and a half.
Just in case if you're driving an RV, be careful because you might now be targeted. There's a lot of RV sales going on this year because of shutdowns, etc. People were getting out of Dodge and living in the woods or sticks or just getting out of the way. But there was a link. I missed it. I think I pulled it down of that. Here's another interesting one.
Trying to find the hit-and-run driver of an
LA.
abandoned car with this grenade launcher sitting inside. They noticed a crashed Honda just after midnight this morning near Glendora Drive and Barton Road in Grand Terrace. They say the driver fled the scene. Then they found this anti-tank rocket-propelled grenade launcher in plain sight in the back seat. The rear window also had a bullet hole, and they found blood on the center console. Deputies say the car's registered owner is 28-year-old Jesse Rodriguez of Colton, who is currently on parole for assault with an automatic weapon. They'd like anyone with any potential information.
She went Elmer Fudd. Hey, I stumble on my words too. She's a pro. Grenade launcher. Okay. If you want to travel next year, 2021, and 3 or 4 days, you may need a vaccine passport. Guess it's not going to play. Thanks, CNN. All right.
How are you feeling now, several hours after you received the coronavirus vaccine? Any side effects at all?
None, Wolf. Actually, I feel really fine. I feel very good. I feel perfectly normal. I expect that probably in an hour or so I'll start to feel a little ache in the arm. That's very common in any kind of vaccination, so I'm anticipating that. But in general, I feel fine.
Great. I know even after you get a flu shot, your arm might be sore a little bit, but it's totally normal. Nothing to worry about. We just heard you reiterate your extreme confidence, Dr. Fauci, in the vaccine, and you demonstrated that, obviously, by rolling up your sleeve today. For anyone who's watching us right now might still have some doubts about whether they should get the shot, can you explain why you're so confident in this science?
Well, if you look at the trial itself and the data and the safety as well as the efficacy data, Wolf, it is really remarkable. The vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, as well as the Pfizer vaccine, is about 94 to 95% efficacious in preventing clinical disease and almost 100% efficacious in preventing serious disease. So the data are rock solid. And everything has been done properly with regard to safety, with regard to evaluating the safety and the efficacy, the approval process. It's been done very quickly, but the speed, Wolf, did not sacrifice the integrity of the science, nor did it sacrifice safety. The speed was a reflection of the extraordinary advances that were made in the science of the vaccine platform technology. So on the basis of all of that, I feel very confident about what we're doing. And that's the reason why I strongly recommend it to everybody and everyone that when the vaccine becomes available to them, to get vaccinated. That is how we're going to put this pandemic behind us.
Okay, that was pretty much worthless. I thought I was going to say something else. Again, I didn't see that. But, again, it goes back to what we saw in the airport or the airline section earlier about the Singapore Airlines. Everyone sees this coming. Baltimore Police Department is 500 officers short. So when we keep joking about Baltimore being Gotham without Batman, they're 500 officers short. Homicides and shootings are pacing with last year's record violent crime stats, and we've lost more officers than we've hired over the last 2 years of P.C. Harrison's tenure in Baltimore. Baltimore, as they always say, Democratic cities destroy the cities, but they keep voting for them. Anyways, so about that Fauci thing too. I wonder if did I not pay attention when I was joking at him on here? That looks like, unless they doctor that up.
Years, I felt a little bit achy, but nothing to be bothering or distracting me. Went to bed last night, had a good night's sleep. Woke up this morning. The only thing I have is just a little.
I wonder if somebody switched the video either there. Well, take that back. No, that's CPS. So that's Bethesda. So one of those guys switched the video because if you saw that last video, he points at the left shoulder. So I wonder if I wonder which one's the right one. This one went right shoulder. The other video went left shoulder. Just throwing it out there. Anyways, so just for everyone to leave on a good note.
I want to take this opportunity to wish all the children, not only in America, but all over the world, a very Merry Christmas.
That was from George Herman Babe Ruth. So anyway, I thought that was a cool one to know. Anyway, well, Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.